What's up, guys? It's Jonathan with Off-Road Place, and we're out here camping, and I figured, we've never done a full walk around of my Tacoma, so I think this is probably the best environment just to give a little bit of the history about my build, as well as go through, what I like best about it, and talk about the suspension, armor, things like that. So just to rewind a little bit, so I first got this Tacoma in December of 21, so it's almost approaching 2 years. And over the last 2 years, this rig has gone through basically 3 different evolutions. So when I first got the Tacoma, I wasn't sure if I was going to be more of an overlander or off-roader. And so before I could make that decision, I decided, I at least want to get it lifted and get 33s on there and start taking it out and just, discovering what kind of rig I want, right? Because you don't know what you don't know. So that's what I did. I started with just a Westcott lift, put 33s on there, and a rooftop tent and a roof rack, ARB roof rack. And then I went to our first Jambo, a few months later. And then at Jambo, I thought my rig was doing pretty well. I was kind of proud of it. And then I get out there, I feel like an amateur, and like all these professional, off-roaders and overlanders. But that was an awesome time just to see, what people can do with their rig and things like that. So shortly after, I decided, against my brother's advice, but I really wanted to get 35s. I just thought that those look amazing, and I'm very much half and half as far as aesthetics versus functionality. So I try to make sure my rig looks how I want it to look, but also functions, what I want it to do. So I always loved the way 35s look. But I also, after research, knew that in order to get 35s, that I would have to do a re-gear, some trimming, and then the body mount relocation, the pinch weld, and then also the, obviously the tuning. So I slowly kind of planned all that out, and then we went for it. So I finally got this on 35s, and Tandem Off-Road did my re-gear, and then I ended up, getting a Cali raised bed rack. And then when I was doing this, I also had some storage issues, and I needed more storage. Especially, usually I'm with at least 1 or 2 other people, like my son and my wife like to come out with me as well. And so that's when I decided to get some Roam cases. But in order to do that, I knew I'd have to change out my roof rack to get some better mounting options than what I currently had. And so that's when I went with the Sherpa rack. So I'll get into a little bit more details on that. And then I guess the third evolution would be more recently, where again I needed more storage. So I got a taller bed rack from Cali Raised. I got the deck drawers, and went ahead and finally got the rear bumper, a high clearance with the dual swing, because I was limited without that bumper. There's a lot of times where I'd have to park and hop in with somebody because they were going through some stuff where my bumper would just fall off. So now I can officially go through, most of the trails that like our crew would go through. All right, so let's just get into the build as it is right now. It could be different in 6 months, but this is how it is right now. Starting with the suspension. So I have the Fox 2.5 coilovers, and then I also have the adjustable Total Chaos upper control arms. On the rear springs, I actually have had to update my rear springs, swap them out. I think I'm on my 4th set. I went through all of the Old Man Emu sets, and they were still sagging. I even got the RXTs from Icon, and those were still sagging. And then I had to move up to the Deaver springs, and those are actually working great. I have full load right now, and those aren't sagging at all. So that's what I'm running on the rear leaf springs. And then I have for wheels, I have the Method 701s, and again 35s, and I'm running the BF Goodrich KM3s. I like mud terrain better than all-terrain, just because a lot of times we'll get into some dicey mud, and the KM3s do a lot better than the all-terrains, just gripping and things like that. So I definitely prefer the mud terrains. And then finally I'm running the Durabumps is what I have on there right now. So as far as armor goes, armor being, bumpers and what's on the undercarriage. So I went with the CBI Baja front bumper, aluminum. Sometimes I kind of wonder if I should have gotten steel, but I went with aluminum just for the weight, and I haven't messed it up too much. So I'm really happy with that bumper. And then I powder coated the TRD Pro skid plate to black, again, just to fit the aesthetics that I like. And then I recently, on the rear, I got the rear CBI high clearance rear bumper with the dual swings. And that thing's awesome. It gives me a lot more clearance. And I finally kind of completed, the ends with that. As far as underneath the vehicle, I'm running RCI full skids along with the RCI cat guards. Then I'm with the swing out RCI rock slider, so it has that little curve that comes out. For us, people are shooting video and stuff, they can just kind of hop on and hold on if we're going short distances. So as far as storage is really important for me because there's not a whole lot of space, I feel like, in a Tacoma compared to like a 4Runner. And you have to get a little bit more creative. So on top, I have the Roam Adventure rugged cases. I'm running the 85 liters on both sides. And then I recently got the deck drawers, the 2 drawers that pull out in the bed. So that gives me a ton more storage. And I also went just recently, just about a month ago, my son and I, he talked me into just fully taking out all my seats. I was going to do 60% rear seat delete, just so in case I needed somebody to ride with me. And then Van just told me, why don't you just go for it? So I totally don't have any seats in the back. And it's actually awesome because I can put my fridge back there instead of in the bed, and it doesn't get as dusty and all that stuff. So with removing the seats, adding the deck drawers, and then the rugged cases up top, I'm pretty good on storage, and I can fit everything and my camera gear. And so I'm finally like super happy with my storage. Okay, so as far as lighting goes, I'm control everything with the ARB Lynx controller. On the front, I have the Baja Designs S8 light, which also, it's a white light, but also has the amber, and I can toggle those two. I have the Raptor lights that possibly every Tacoma and 4Runner have, but I still like them, and I think they're cool. And so that's what I have running at least on the front grille. And then I have, on top, I have the Extreme LED 44-inch light bar with the ambers on the sides, which is awesome because just to be able to just turn on amber for certain moments. For ditch lights, I got the Cali raised ditch lights, and they are white. Sometimes I kind of think I might get amber eventually just because they're not as in your face at night, but I did get white in the ditch lights. And then I got red Baja Design rock lights, and I got 4 of those. It's kind of funny because some people get the rock lights and they are only lighting the suspension or the top of the tire. And so we did a video about it, but I decided to put them in a little bit better placement. So they're actually lighting what's in front of all 4 tires, which has a little bit more functionality. So that's something different I did as far as installing the rock lights. And then as far as lighting on the back, I just recently got lights on the back. So I have an Extreme LED 44-inch light bar on the back that kind of acts like chase lights basically, and it works also with my braking. So it has the red as well as the amber in the middle, and then has actually white in the very center for my reverse light. And so that works really well with camping because I built in a switch where I can hit this switch and just the white light shows up. So it's more like a work light when we're camping, and that's really kind of a cool idea because sometimes it's you don't think about it until you're camping and it's pitch black, and you realize like I can't see anything unless I have a headlamp, and so having that white light on the back really helps once we're out here in a scene like this. And then we also installed 2 Baja Design rock lights that are actually underneath the bed rack, so that they point down on the bed and on so I can see the deck drawers better. So can't really see them until you look up, but those 2 work lights, or the rock lights, but they act as work lights, are pretty awesome just to see what's in the bed and in the drawers. So that's pretty much all my light setup, but I feel like it's pretty strong. Has what I need. Obviously, you can always add more lights, but as of right now, I'm filled up on my 6 switches. So we'll see what happens, with that. All right, let's just talk about the exterior. I'm running the Sherpa roof rack. I love that roof rack. There's a lot of different mounting brackets available for it. That's why I picked it. And so I'm able to put everything that I need on there. So my rugged cases, the light bars, I even mount my Gazelle tent right in the middle of my cases, and it does great. So I'm super happy with the roof rack. And then I have the tall height Cali raised bed rack. I upgraded from the mid height to the tall, mainly because on the mid height, I was having issues once my tent came down. Anything that was on that right side, on the passenger side, it just wouldn't work. It was like just kind of hitting where that tent came down. And so when I raised that rack, it really kind of made the vehicle seem a lot bigger. But also, I can mount anything to the sides of the bed rack. And so again, I have a lot more, storage and capability on the sides. I feel like I'm saying Rome Adventure a lot, but they have really great products, and so I've just kind of slowly added things to it as the need arises. So I have the Rome Vagabond rooftop tent, and I think it has a purple mattress in it, so it's super comfortable compared to my previous tent. And also just recently put the Rome 270 awning as well, which is cool because the tent comes down and I have the annex for the tent, so I have like a second room, which is nice for like when my wife and I went to Colorado, for example. We'd use that annex to change in. That way we wouldn't have to actually get out in the open, and see bears or whatever else we didn't want to see. And then the 270 awning is great because it wraps around and comes, right flush to where the tent comes down. And then we have the annex. And then on the other side of the tent, I have my recently added shower room. So I'm about to get the rinse kit 5-gallon water tank underneath my bed rack. And then that hose can go right to the shower rack. So we can have, hot showers and all that stuff. So I really like the setup and how everything kind of fits together and really surrounds the truck as far as the exterior features. So I have, roto packs, gas tanks, on one side, and then tread boards on the other. And then I did get the Safari snorkel a while back, and then recently got the mushroom tip added from snorkelupgrade.com. And so that allows more air to come in. So yeah, I think that sums up kind of what I have running as far as the exterior, accessories. So let's get into the interior. I'm running the Expedition Essentials power dash mount. I really like that dash mount because I have, my walkie hooks onto it, my action cam holder, as well as my iPhone charger. So it's all right there. And I still have a lot of different spaces if I wanted to add, my iPad or some type of better, navigation. So I have the Midland radio. And I think one of my favorite interior accessories is the actual rear view camera, the live rear view, which really helps me see past the vehicle because obviously, when I'm packed out with everything that's in the back, I can't see behind me. So that rear view really gives you a lot more visibility. And then again, I have the ARB links controlling my front locker and my compressor and all the lighting stuff, as well as my speedometer. I don't even know if I want to talk about speedometer, but for some reason, I haven't figured out how to recalibrate the speedometer. So I have to use the ARB links to actually read my correct speed. Haven't gotten stops for speeding, maybe because my rig's so heavy and I don't speed a lot, more than like 10-ish. But yeah, that's kind of what I use as far as my daily driving on the inside. I also have also running the Smittybilt X20 winch on the front, as well as on the rear, I have the really cool custom trail gate that AL Off-Road did for us. But yeah, I think that kind of wraps up, what I'm running as far as, armor and suspension, exterior, interior, those kind of things. Overall, I'm super happy with my Tacoma. Despite having all of that weight and all those upgrades, it actually still does zip around quite a bit with having it re-geared, as well as the OTT tune, which is That's what I would recommend to everybody. If you haven't got your vehicle tuned, that makes a huge difference. So I don't feel like I'm driving a tank. I still feel like I can hit the pedal and go. And it's just cool to have a vehicle like this, where you go through some sketchy stuff and you get to the other side of it, and you just kind of have that experience. Not only you have that experience with the people that you're with, but I feel like you also like kind of bond with your vehicle and get to have more confidence with your vehicle and its capability, and it also helps your overall driver confidence as to what you can go through and what you're comfortable going through. And I think it's also important sometimes to to push yourself past what's comfortable, because you'd be surprised what Toyotas can do. I've always driven Toyotas for decades. I've usually always driven 4Runners, and so this is actually my first Tacoma to drive, and I'm loving it. I'm really happy with it, and I probably will keep this for like the foreseeable future for sure. Even with the new Tacoma coming out and the new 4Runner and all these hybrid Max and all those all the new i4 stuff coming out, I don't know, there's just something special about this, and so I can see myself holding on to this one for a while, and it being my true off-road vehicle. Maybe one day it won't be my daily driver like it is now, but that's okay, because at least once a day, sometimes 4 times a day, I'll get people that give me a thumbs up, or they stop and talk to me about my rig and stuff like that. So it's a cool conversation starter as well. And it's just good to let people know about off-roading, just to help kind of spread the word for people to get out, enjoy nature, and do something different. So it's been just about 2 years since we like officially launched Off-Road Place, and it's been amazing. We've gotten to do some awesome installs and builds in the shop. But more importantly, we've gotten to go out on adventures and meet really cool people and have these awesome experiences. And so it's just been a wild ride. So as we kind of end 2022 and look to the next year, we have some really exciting things on the horizon, and we're looking really to grow, not just the business side and the installs, but also get to know more people and have more adventures and take people out and just have fun, because what's the point of building out all these rigs and spending all this money if you're not going to go out and enjoy it. So yeah, we're looking forward to this next year, and along with bringing out Jeremy and Brian and some of the people with Off-Road Place, but as well as partnering with people like Logic Overland and Tandem Off-Road, Cali Raised, some of these guys that we've really gotten close with, and some that we might not know yet, but we're really looking forward to just getting out there and also doing our part to contribute to the off-road community, and help spread awareness as well, that there's like a lot of things that you can do in your vehicle, and sometimes you don't even have to build and put a ton of money into it just to be able to use it and have fun with it. So if you're interested in adding a tent or a suspension, something small, or even full build, just reach out, give us a shout, and we can do a consultation, see what you want to do, what your needs are, not what we think you should do, and we'd be happy to work with you and build out something that you can really enjoy, just like we have.